Hey, what's up, guys? Been a little bit since I posted, but finally I'm able to post about this, the car. And as you can see, it's not in a garage, and it's not broken down in the middle of nowhere where I can't fix it at all.
We did, in fact, not push it here.
Yes, we didn't push it, we didn't tow it, it drove. Did it get a little hot? Yes, but there's reasons for that I can't disclose on YouTube. But
Mexico.
if you know where we live and if you drive through the town, there might be some marks on the road. Anywho, well, if you would come a little closer here, we can see that last time you guys saw this, there was lots of things that were taken apart, including all of that, all of this, probably some stuff everywhere. But look here, this shiny new Phytech ECU. Ow, that radiator's hot. Freaking A, right, bud? Oh.
So while taking the car apart, we learned a few different things about the motor. So it is the block itself was out of a K10 pickup truck. The reason they do that is because it has thicker vanes. The block is just cast in thicker.
Yeah.
And it is a
it's got Camaro heads on it too. Yeah. Those are just slightly stronger than
they're Camaro or
heads.
Chevelle heads. They're just more sportier. And then it's got a 383 stroker kit. And then
yeah, which is a kit. It wasn't like they didn't take an old 400 motor apart and part it out. It's a 383 kit, which I like better than just taking parts out of a used motor because it means everything's a little fresher.
We legit just got this car done 2 days ago.
Yes, I was like, okay, I'm about to graduate at my home school. I need to get this thing running. So he did.
I stayed up till like 2:33 in the morning before his graduation.
Yeah, so he did that, and he did all this wiring, and even wiring that you can't see. But I think it looks amazing. I'm gonna be honest. I think it looks a little bit better than it did before. But yeah, so he stayed up doing all that. And then I had like 2 hours between, I forget what it was. I'm going to be honest because this whole weekend has been super busy. But I had like a 2-hour span where I was like, I'm getting this thing to run. And I did. I just, I reconnected a ground, reconnected the fuel pump return, which was under the dash. And I had to change one setting on the little handheld computer. It was the ignition setting. It was set to tack ignition, and it had to be set to 2-wire ignition. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know the difference on that.
So the tack is if your car is more modern. The 2-wire is like the coil setup.
Yeah.
And the problem was it crank, get fuel, no problem, but it would not start because it wasn't getting any spark.
Because it wasn't sending a signal to tell it, hey, you need spark for a 2-wire system.
So when you do this system, there's a black and a blue wire. On this, you use the black wire because it's a coil, and if your car is more modern, has the normal computers, you use the blue wire.
Yeah.
Because that connects to your gauges and everything. I like this new system better because you don't have to wire in your own fuses. It's all on its own fuse panel.
Yes, it is self-tapped in there, but it actually looks pretty clean, if I'm going to be honest. Every single fuse and relay that you could ever need is right there. It's super easy to get to. Everything's clean. Yeah, I mean, it's honestly just amazing.
And not to mention, Phytech has been very helpful throughout this process of fixing this car.
I'm going to be honest, Phytech tech support has been very helpful.
Yes. Problem with this kind of system, it is nice when it's working, but if one thing is not communicating right, nothing works. So if the ignition isn't getting the proper signal, it won't work. If it's a few volts below what it's supposed to be, it won't start. It has to be exact.
Everything has to be, and if it's perfect.
If it's like my car, it's a carbureted vehicle, it can be a little rough.
Which, as you can see,
this is my 1980 Pontiac Trans Am Firebird. All original, blue interior. The The car is from Canada. It was shipped there after manufacture, and then it after like 3 owners from in Canada came back to here. My older brother bought it, and then I bought it off him. So now it's my baby. But the car had to be reconverted back to miles per hour and all that from kilometers.
And not only does this car have that cool of a story just from going to a different country and then coming back, this thing is also probably the rarest model with the color.
I've talked to people about this car, and it was very hard to get the blue interior.
Not only the blue interior, but the blue bird. I talked to the same guy that he was. We were there the same day, and he had to argue with the people, like whenever they were still making these, he had to argue with the people at Pontiac to get them to put the blue bird and the blue interior in it.
Yeah.
So he told us he went in there, and like the sales representative or something called up to the main hub and said, "Do you guys have blue cloth and blue paint?" They said yes, and he said, "Then make this man's car."
I've only seen one car that is rarer than this, and it's the same car. Only thing different is it has T-tops, and it's the blue leather. That's the only other one I've seen like this one. But she's all factory. It still has the emissions pump and all that. There's one thing I don't know 100% sure. I've been told that there was an option for an upgraded factory cam. I believe this car has it because when it's running, you can hear a cam.
Yeah, it sounds a little choppy.
And yeah, the paint's original. The stickers are original. The seat. The only thing that was done was somebody repainted the interior the same blue, but they left the glove box the old faded color.
Yeah. And I think the car has definitely been like re-cleared, or it's been waxed or something for sure. Not waxed, but buffed.
And the only other thing is the radio. It looks old school, as you can see, but they upgraded it to the ones that have Bluetooth in it. I have the factory radio, factory gauges, factory everything that was on this car.
Yeah, this car is in how many miles? 30,000?
Yeah, 30,000.
30,000 miles.
30,972 miles.
On a car from 1980. My car's 1974, and it's got 96,000 miles on it. And that one's been to 2 different countries. So, I mean, that's
they're both cool cars, but
they each have their own little flaws.
This one's cool because it's all original. This one's cool because it has
a heck of a motor.
13 wides in the rear and a 383 stroker that lights the tires.
Oh yeah. As we may or may not have found out yesterday, the day before, and today.
I was in Mexico. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, and just recap, we did oil pan, main seal, oil pan gasket. We did the intake manifold gaskets.
And we do
header gaskets,
intake gasket,
and it has a new alternator, new water pump.
Yeah, and don't mind the rust on the water pump. And I genuinely don't know why it's already rusting.
It's bad coating.
It's just got to be bad coating. So
long story short, it has all new coolant in it.
Yeah. I mean, shoot, even the injector, it gladly came with a new seal for the intake and the injector body. I think that's what they call it, the injector body. It came with new gaskets for all that too, so we put that on there.
It runs great.
It runs fantastic. It still does get a little hot. I will be honest about that.
So the reason,
because this fan doesn't kick on.
It's supposed to kick on around.
I have it set to kick on at 160, but I think whoever did the wiring on it messed it up.
So the wiring to that is still how it was before. I didn't mess with that yet because we just wanted him to be able to get it to graduation.
Yeah.
What we plan on doing and are going to do is wire them both to one switch. That way, when he turns on the car, both fans are running at all times.
Yeah. Because, well, since the camera is over here, that one works. That one works perfectly fine. This one, it just doesn't turn on, and that's the only reason why I get. And the only time it gets hot is whenever it goes up a hill. That's it. If it goes just on a flat surface, cruising at like 50 miles an hour.
Well, and that's all.
It does cruise very well. It stays at like 170.
That's also because the stall converter that's in it. It's a like 2500. It's
yeah.
She gets down. She's I keep telling him I've never been more excited to see a vehicle run in my life. The only other car we've done something like this to is
our grandpa's Jeep.
What year is that? It's a
1979 Jeep CJ5.
Yeah, we'll get that in a video soon. It's full fiberglass body. We completely rewired it. It's got a kicking sound system in it. We're waiting on the shop to fix what they messed up.
Yeah, the shop put a new... What do they do? They put an oil pan seal and a rear main seal in it.
They did oil pan, rear main seal, and valve covers.
Yeah.
Something for you people to learn when you do that block. It's not a 350 small block, but they're about the same thing. It's the oil pan and the crank caps are about the same. So what you have to do, even if you have a one-piece oil pan gasket, which if you do the one piece, then your main seal's in with it. When you do that, where your crank caps are, not RTV, what's it called?
Yeah, it's RTV.
Yeah, I forget which.
It's RTV.
Is it 1 or 2?
I think 2 is cool. You can correct us on that in the comments.
What you have to do is put that in those creases just enough to seal it up. Yeah, if not, you're going to have the oil leaking out of the front and the back, and you're going to be wondering, why is there oil leaking? I just fixed that. I think
RTV 2 is coolant and 1 is for oil.
If we're wrong, correct us.
Yeah, correct us in the comments. I could have those 2 reversed.
But that's what happened with the Jeep. And if you ever do an oil pan, that's why it's leaking. If it's leaking after you do it.
Well, and that Jeep and that car almost have the same motor. That's a 4.9 301. That Jeep has a 304. So they're similar, but they're not.
On the Jeep's a 4-speed manual on
3-speed manual.
Yeah, it's a 3 on the floor. It's got 15 or 14-inch rims.
I think he downsized. They're 13 and a half wide. The wheel. Yeah, those are
wheels.
I don't even remember
that. They're welds. You'll see it in a video.
Yeah,
we'll get it in with all these.
But it's got boggers on it, and that thing is nice. Like, it's clean.
For what it is, it's pretty quick.
Yeah. I mean, I think we'll get down and... I remember whenever we first got it going, we got it to a car show, and he put it into first gear, dumped the clutch, took off. I was riding with him, and the cloud of smoke that was behind us.
So what you got to...
Crazy.
With that car, what you got to think about is all the weight is in the chassis. The body, the only original parts of the body are the windshield and the grill.
Yeah.
Everything else is fiberglass. There's no doors, no roof, none of that.
No.
So all the weight is in the chassis.
That thing has literally dropped like 500 pounds or more just in steel weight, just because of the fiberglass body.
Unlike this car is still a boat.
This car it weighs over 5,000 pounds with me in it, and I'm 190 pounds.
Which is crazy, because that car weighs like 4,000.
Yeah.
And I weigh about 315.
Yeah. That car, another thing we learned from this guy that we talked to at a car show, which would be really cool if you watch this video, because we learned a lot from that dude.
We've been trying to learn about my car, because there's a lot of things that Pontiac did back in the day.
Yeah.
That were on the option list, and I don't know any of the original owners of that car. Only person I know is my brother, who I bought it off of.
Yeah, and he bought it somewhere over in Indiana.
No, it was
Northern Ohio.
It was Eastern Ohio.
Was it east?
Yeah.
I don't know if it was up north though.
Yeah, it was northeast Ohio.
It was like a good hour away.
What's crazy about this car is it spent almost all of its life in Canada, and the underside looks brand new. There's no rust on this car.
Yeah, they definitely never took it out whenever it was cold.
It still has the factory block heater from Canada.
Yeah, which I think we kind of tucked away because it just looked like a lamp cord.
It's just a normal plug-in.
Yeah. But one thing I was saying about what that guy taught us. So this thing has a 4.9 because it's from 1980, and I don't think they even offered the 6.6 if I'm right.
So in 1979 was the last year they offered manual and the 6.6.
Yeah.
In 1980, is when all the emissions and stuff started coming around heavily.
Real heavy.
And they made the 4.9, and it still boogies, but it's like 20 horsepower.
If I'm right, this model from the Canadian model that they made and sent to Canada, which this one is, had 180 horsepower from the factory, if I'm right. So this one now probably has about, with that low of miles, we'll say 150. It's lost some ponies over the years.
But what was crazy is the torque on these cars is like, oh yeah, they still
have the V8 torque, but they kind of, they lost all that power and crap from all the emissions and everything.
My plans for this car, there's not much that's going to change. I'd like to get rid of the emissions pump because there can be failures in the baffles, and it can cause a lot of issues. It can cause exhaust flow problems and intake flow problems.
Well, and something that's cool about this motor is, yes, it's smaller than the 6.6. Yes, it made less power and less torque. But if you compare a 1979 Trans Am to this 1980 Trans Am, they keep up with each other up to like, what, 60 or more miles an hour, something like that. They keep up with each other because this one is so much lighter. And this one corners better too because there's not 500 pounds in the front end. There's 350 pounds in the front end.
For an 80s American muscle car, this car corners like no one's business.
It corners like a modern day sports car. Like our grandpa, he had a 1979 similar to this one.
His was the same color, same bird, T-top, silver interior, with the same colors, but his had gold pinstriping wheels.
Yeah, and he would race trains, he would race freaking supercars, everything around corners down in freaking West Virginia.
Sadly, he sold it and it got crashed.
Yeah, he sold it, and I believe the next day, literally someone wrapped it around a tree or a pole or something.
Because them 6.6, you couldn't keep them. You couldn't keep traction onto the road.
They literally had so much torque that if you just mashed the gas, you would just spin a circle.
It had so much torque, it would twist the chassis off the line.
Fast and Furious
reference. The weirdest thing on this car, and if anyone that watches this video knows anything about these cars, I'd be interested to hear what you got to say. So this is the intake, but for some reason there's a pipe that comes from the exhaust manifold and feeds into this baffle that goes into the intake. So this car intakes cold and exhaust fluid, exhaust air, which doesn't make any sense to me because then you're pushing hot air back into the intake.
Which I don't really understand either. I don't know why they would do that unless that's part of the stupid emissions, which it could be. That's possibly how they passed exhaust emissions.
That's the only thing I can think of. Because I've never seen that on another vehicle.
No, I've never seen it. I know it's a thing that early 2000s, maybe car companies kind of fiddled around with, but it just failed, so they stopped. Because they had recirculating emissions.
This was the beginning of all the emissions. And
well, it wasn't the beginning, but this is whenever it hit really hard.
Yeah, with gas prices and everything.
Early 1970s and later 1970s, you still had huge motors like that one and 454s and 429s and all that.
But they all were choked down by emissions.
Yeah, they all had 150 horsepower and used about 6 miles, and they got about 6 miles to the gallon. Yeah. Which this one, honestly, this thing's more fuel efficient than I thought because it has a self-tuning system. So like the Phytech tunes itself, so it probably gets 8 or 10 miles to the gallon.
It's like a live tuning. So as you're driving, it adjusts reading while you're driving
to how you're driving, which I think is actually pretty freaking cool. And here's the whole reason why this car is running. Camera person, my lovely girlfriend, would you come here? Those dice right there. That's the whole reason this car is running. I put those dice in there, and yep, that's what this car wanted. It was missing its dice. Because, I mean, 1970s thing. What?
I forgot I had my parts with me.
Okay, sorry. My girlfriend paused it to tell me something. She was trying to tell me to show you guys the system, which is actually cool. Something was catching on the door. Oh, it was probably that little strap right there.
The doors are like 4 foot long.
Oh, yeah, literally. So, I'm sure you guys remember the old little dinky tiny computer thing that I absolutely hated. This is the new one. It's so much better. It is so much better. I mean, look, it's everything that the old one had, but newer. Like, it's still touchscreen and everything. You know, I could do all of this, but I mean, it's just bigger and it's better and everything works faster. I don't know. I just like it a lot better. Plus, it doesn't have those stupid little two tiny pins that if they break, it's the end of the world. It's got USB-C, which I love. I love the USB-C. Everything that has technology should be USB-C, in my opinion. That might be a controversial opinion, but it's just so much better. So much easier than absolutely everything. Ugh. Now, back to this car, because it hasn't been in my channel at all ever.
I have my own YouTube channel I haven't been doing much with. I believe he's going to put it in the comments below.
Yeah, I'll plug his YouTube channel.
So if you didn't know, this is where you fuel the car up from.
Yeah.
But this is the original kilometer gauge. And then it has, you're going to have to kind of get down to
yeah,
see.
you're going to have to.
It has the original tire, the original air canister, and the original jack.
Here, look up a little bit. Yeah, that's the original jack right there, which not a lot of cars have.
This is a canister of air for flat tires.
Yeah.
Almost none of them have that anymore. It doesn't have the full-size spare, but I'm just happy it has that.
Yeah.
And then if we look in this box...
I don't even know what's in this box. Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's
the factory radio.
Factory radio. It still functions and everything, but it's really nice having Bluetooth in a car.
Yeah. Especially an old car like this.
That's the one mod I'm really happy that someone did to it.
If not, you'd have to sit there and try to use them little dials to dial in like 99.1
Here's how good of a condition this car is. The factory instructions are still on the car. Even under the hood, they're still there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think my car has any of that.
I would doubt it.
And if it did have that, they probably removed it because we're going to make it lighter. Because that car was definitely based off of weight reduction.
You'd have to pull the doors off. That car's pretty... I think most of the weight's in the doors.
Freaking doors on my car weigh like 500 pounds a piece, and these ones, they like 200. Not even that, probably like 100 pounds. The
paint's not the prettiest on the car because it's all original.
Yeah.
And it's had its dings and nicks and scratches.
Yeah, and you might have seen the little scratch over there on the... Well, I say little scratch.
So that scratch on the driver's side is from
the past owner.
The owner before my brother. My brother went to look at the car, and the guy calls him that night saying the guy went to move something and a ladder fell and hit the back corner.
Yeah.
And it sadly put a big gouge in the back. The goal eventually, keep the same color and everything, repaint it the same color, and get the stickers actually
like clear coated or vinyled?
No, painted on. I can't remember what it's called, but actual painted on and then under the clear coat, so that way they're not gonna slowly degrade like they do.
I mean, still.
Oh, yeah.
Even for... How old would this car be? 45 years old? It's from 1980? Is that math right? Yeah, 45.
I'm not that good at math.
If my math is correct, this car's 45 years old, and it's in this good a shape.
What's a funny story is when my brother was selling this car, I was like, hey, I'll buy it off of you. And I bought it without knowing if I fit in it. I'm 6'4", 315 pounds. I didn't know if my head was going to clear the roof. Luckily, it just barely clears.
Well, but the only reason his head clears the roof is because the seat cushioning is just slightly like pressed down.
It's just old.
Yeah, someone just sat in it for a long time, I guess, because the seat cushioning is kind of wore down. His head's literally like that far away from touching the roof.
If you think about it, it's a show car. So the only person that probably ever drove it was the driver. That's why the seat's kind of squished down.
Plus, they're Canadians, so they're kind of like Americans. They might have been a little blubbery, we'll say.
You calling me fat? This car, I can't wait to get it detailed and everything. Because if you look at the paint, it's
got
almost
some
it's
little
almost
blemishes.
It's not candy paint job, but man, it shines.
Yeah, if the camera captures all the sparkles that are in the paint, the previous owner, he paid, I believe it was $5,000 for this paint job, and that was years and years and years ago.
And like these, they're not stickers; they're actually like pinstripe. That's what I was looking for earlier.
Yeah,
They're actually like pinstriped into the clear.
yeah, it's all part of the paint job, which is one of the reasons why this car was, well, the paint job was so expensive. Like the Chevy emblems that are on these back panels, that's why it was so expensive, because it's a part of the paint.
You can't see it, but my favorite view is following this car, because when you follow it, you just see the underneath of the car, and it's got big old 3-inch just axle dump down pipes.
Yeah,
you can see them kind of where.
Yeah, is there any way you can get up under and kind of just? It's so hard to see.
That's what you see when you're following this car.
Yeah,
and it looks so mean from the back. Don't mind,
they're not perfectly straight. That's
from the back, it looks so mean.
And it's got 13-inch wides on the rear. You see the exhaust, you hear the exhaust, and it's just, I don't know. I like these taillights too. That might just be me. I like the taillight design. Personally,
I like them better than the previous years where it was the round lights. I like the square better.
Yeah, because if I'm right, wasn't it? They had like 2 little round lights.
It was like what Corvette lights are now. It's the two single lights.
Yeah, which I don't like.
And then up front,
as much.
Yours are the square housing with the round headlight. I like that better than what was before. It was the 2 squares.
Because
it was before or after. It was the two square lights.
Yeah. Well, and actually, it's kind of funny because not a lot of these years, not very many years, if I remember right, even just from looking at pictures, not many years had the square mount with the round light. Am I right on that?
See, I don't know a lot about these cars. I only know enough because of working on it.
Yeah, that's about what I know about this car.
Ever since he bought it, I joke with him. I'm like, you should have bought the same year, but an El Camino.
Yeah. Well, whenever I first bought this car, I drove it to my oldest brother's baby or gender reveal.
Yeah, gender reveal.
And no one knew that I bought this car. No one knew. And I was going to make it a surprise. And not only was it a surprise for everyone, it was a surprise for me that I had to replace a bunch of crap on it. And, well, thankfully, he did a lot of work to this car. He stayed up, because, I mean, he works 3rd shift, so he stayed up a lot of nights working on the car. I did a decent amount of work on the car. I'm going to say he did most of it, but I did some.
He paid, and
yeah, I provided all the money and all the parts that this car needed, and he provided a lot of the work. I did some stuff, but he did more than I did.
I did the hard work, and he paid for everything.
Yeah, basically. But I mean, yeah.
Well, what was funny was so he pulled in before they revealed what the baby was.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be a boy, and it was perfect that he rolled up in a blue car.
Yeah.
And it was a boy.
See, but
it wasn't planned at all.
I already knew that it was going to be a boy. I'm just saying that. They didn't tell me, but I just had the feeling that it was going to be a boy. I just knew it.
I was kind of hoping it would have been a girl, but
I was hoping it was a boy, and it was. See, I was right.
What's funny is when we pulled the motor out of this car, I'm not joking you, the fender was here.
Yeah, I think I might have shown that in the video. I don't remember. But whenever we pulled the motor out, this car raised up like 4 inches, and the tires didn't look flat. Because I get like, anywhere I go, everywhere I go, everyone's like, man, them tires need some air. I'm like, no, this motor just weighs a freight ton. And
I don't understand why it weighs so much.
Well, I think also those tires have a very soft sidewall. I don't think they're actual, like, drag skinnies.
They're road tires.
They're just like, I'm going to say donut tires.
My favorite feature.
Hey. Floating like a Cadillac, stinging like a Bentley.
It is funny when you're following behind this car and you see it take a turn. It looks like an old Cadillac just leaning.
Yeah, literally. Whenever you're in this car, you see it. You just go to turn. You turn left and you're just like,
For reference, he used to have a 1982 Chrysler LeBaron,
Yes.
and this corner is the exact same.
Yes, that car was super floaty, super soft suspension. This thing's the exact same. Like, it is. It weighs about 1,500, 2,000 pounds more than my old car, but it also has about an extra 400 horsepower because that old car, it was from 1982, and it had a 4-cylinder in it. That thing from factory only had like 80 something horsepower. So after all those years, it probably
All
only made it
you
down
have
to
to say
like
is this one has
50,000.
4 more cylinders.
Huh?
I said, all you got to say is this one has 4 more cylinders.
Yeah.
So the plan now is to enjoy it and sell it.
Yeah, that's kind of, I don't know if you guys caught up on that little hint that I said early on in the video for how long I had this car. I'm planning on selling it. I have enjoyed it. I'm still going to enjoy it for as long as I have it. But there's other things in life that I want to do, and there's other cars that I want to own. So I kind of want to get rid of this thing. Like I said, I'm gonna enjoy it. This thing's going to car shows. It's gonna still cruise around town and everything. We're gonna fix the fans.
Whoever gets this car is gonna be set. It's all new. Like, there's so much new parts on this car.
There's so many new parts, and it's all done properly now. We did all of the research we could possibly do to make everything function.
He's a licensed mechanic. I have been doing wiring forever.
Yeah.
The amount of sound systems and that, like the Jeep and rewiring of stuff I have done, this car is done proper. I took time doing the wiring.
Well, not only that, but we took our time for this whole car. We both know what I went to school to be a mechanic. I've worked in a mechanic shop for 3.5 years. I have not skimped out on anything on this car. It all has the best. Whatever it has the best. Like the alternator. The guys at work were giving me crap. They're like, it doesn't need that high output alternator. Yeah, it freaking does. And even if it didn't need that, it has the amperage to give you. You want to add something to this car? Because I'm gonna be honest, I might add horns to this car, like, because it doesn't have a horn. I might add horns to it.
Just for reference.
Just because why not?
Just while doing the wiring, I cut about half a bag of zip ties just getting it right.
Yeah.
Because when you do something like this, you want it to be done right. You don't want to take shortcuts, because then you're going to have a problem later on. If you just do it right the first time, you won't have a problem. And if you don't know, there's the internet.
Yeah.
It's your best friend nowadays.
We had to use a bit of internet, and like I said, the FiTech, like tech support, whatever. Like I said, they were amazing. Just don't try to deal with corporate. 'Cause suck. But
he says this, and he hasn't checked his email yet, probably.
It is what it is. They want to take me to court.
Me personally, is this whole system cool? Yes. Does it work? Yes. But like I said earlier, if one thing isn't right, it won't work.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I know I'm going to sound like an old dude when I say this, and people make fun of guys for saying it. I would have gone back to carbureted.
Which I did debate on that. I really did.
You don't have to deal with any of the computer system. And that was the problem with the car. When it went out, the ECU fried itself.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know why. FiTech said it's because it's an old system.
I'll be honest, I believe I know why. Like I said before, the alternator on this thing, I think I said this, it was a 63 amp alternator. That's a factory alternator. That's not enough to push all of this. Like, yeah, I think this whole system itself, the injectors and the pump, they take 15 or 20 amps each. Each of the fans is 15 amps. The MSD system...
Not to mention the fuel pump in the back.
Yeah, the little fuel pump in the back. All of it wound up being way more... If you do all the math, it's way more than 63 amps. So I have a 140 amp alternator on there. If you want to add, like I said, I might add little horns on this, like little train horns almost, like little air horns. That's going to be more amperage. You want it to be able to take everything you can throw at it, which is what I have done. And and I got made fun of it for spending $100 on an alternator.
I'm the only one out of our group that has a classic car with a working horn.
You know, you're right. Yeah, his horn works. My horn doesn't work, but like I said, I might get like
the Jeep. No one else
horns
in our group has a classic car with a working horn.
Well, we put a new horn on the Jeep, and it worked for like a month. And then something happened. Wasn't it like one of the like a little kid or something popped the button off?
And the Jeep sat outside for 12 years. It's just old interior material.
Yeah.
And the clock, it's not a clock spring. I don't know what you'd call it. It's just full of crud
and worn out. And yeah, he needs a little button for his horn instead of the actual
this
horn button.
These systems are cool,
but they have their downfalls.
They're cool.
Anyways, back to what I was saying. I am going to sell this. When I'm going to sell it, I don't know. How much I'm going to sell it for? I don't know that either. Honestly, if anyone watching this video is interested in buying this car, just know, A, it's done properly, and B, it's going to treat you well. But if you want it, send me offers. If you know someone that wants a car, like a hot rod, tell them about this. I'll work with you on a price. Reasonable price. I'm not losing money on this car. Because I know roughly what these go for online, and I could make a fair amount of money on it. But I'm willing to work with you. If you want a hot rod, I'll work with you on a price.
We're not just some shade tree mechanics either. We take pride in our work.
Because we do it right. And if we don't do it right and something does mess up, we take accountability for it and we freaking fix it. Because that's just what you're supposed to do.
This car, before we got a hold of it, when we started tearing into it, the wiring was there was wires awful. That were ran and had cuts in them that were just twisted together.
Yes.
And now all that is fixed.
Yeah, one of the main wire coming off the back of the alternator that's there for power, it was slit about that big, and there was another wire just tucked in between that little slit and just wrapped up in there. Which, I get it, it's easier to do it that way.
But it's not the right way to do it.
But that's not the right way to do it. Yeah, whenever I found that, I was like, holy crap. I'm going to strangle the person that did that.
Here's how much I care about it being done right. The loom that we use is this nice and soft loom.
Yeah.
But I ran out and I had to use this plastic. This bugs the piss out of me, these being different. That's how much I care.
But to be fair, it's still loom. I mean, that could be fixed. I think we have some more of this somewhere else.
No, I used it right
Well,
here.
I think we have extra somewhere. I don't know where though.
But yeah,
but I mean,
somebody's gonna get a really good driving.
Oh yeah, no
fixed car.
After we get this fan actually working, because dude, with one fan, I can drive this car around for actually quite a long time, and it stays cool until you start going up a hill. Because like we live on a hill, and you know I'm going up a hill. Speed limit's 25. I think yesterday it got up to like 190.
Ignore the train in the background. We're filming over here, guys.
Yeah, there's a train. Don't mind that. But I mean, literally, even just with one fan, this thing stays cool. Which is, a lot of people will be like, oh, you know, whatever, the other fan's not working. Yeah, it's not working, but it's still staying cool. And that fan's going to work.
And you learn something new every day. This car right now doesn't have a thermostat in it.
Yeah.
Because of how it runs, it needs a constant flow of coolant. And we just learned a cool trick that if you take a thermostat and you pull the spring and stuff out and just use the casing with where it has a little hole on top, it slows down the flow and makes it smoother through the veins.
It slows it down just enough to where it actually gives a little bit more time in the radiator to actually cool down, which like you said, we literally just learned that today from our cousin who has owned hot rods for literally his whole life.
He's drag raced since before I was even a thought.
Since, for I don't even know how many years he's been having hot rods, drag races, everything. I believe his word over anyone around here.
Look up Old Yeller from Street Outlaws. He owned that car.
He used to own Old Yeller from Street Outlaws, but then he got, what did he get? He got kicked out from the drag strips.
They live over in Indiana, and the drag strip was too short because that car would lay 11s all the way down the strip.
Yeah, well, that, and if I'm right, he got banned from the one strip because he just kept beating everybody.
Well,
no one had a car fast enough.
That, and it was too fast.
It was too fast. But, like I said, if you want this car, hit me up in the comments. We'll get to talking. I'll get your email or something. We can talk back and forth. If you know someone that wants
inquiries only. We're not here for I'll give you $20.
Yeah, don't hit me up saying I'll give you a case of beer and 20 chicken nuggets, because I'll shoot that down immediately. I won't even look at that. Just say something in the comments. Hey, I'd like to look at it, or hey, my buddy wants to look at it. And dude, I will work with you. I'm not that picky of a guy, and I'm a fair guy. I don't like screwing people over. I'm not that kind of guy. I hate that. The dude that previously owned this car, there's a thing on the back of it that says 35 grand. I would not even dare pay that much for this car.
He gave you your opinion on Fight Tech. I can't say what I want to say about this guy on YouTube because it'll get this video demonetized. But the nice way of saying is he can go kick rocks.
Yeah, well, because it would have been nice to know some things about this car that I didn't know at first.
What happened is he was a 17-year-old kid, and he saw this race car, and two older guys kind of convinced him to buy this car.
And I didn't really know anything about the car, I'll be honest.
He didn't know anything about it. And then we got a hold of it, and it all went wrong. And now we fixed everything that went wrong, and now it's all right because they took shortcuts and screwed him over.
But now if I've fixed it, and now I've had my fun with it, and we've had our experiences with it. We fixed it, and we've had our experiences with it. And it was a learning curve, honestly, very much a learning curve. But I think it's time to move on to something honestly more like that.
He wants something kind of like what I got. That's more factory and I guess you could say reliable?
Yes, definitely more reliable. And honestly, I would say more stock, just because it's easier to find parts for.
He wants a more stable automotive relationship.
Yeah. And I know it's not going to be, I know whatever I buy is not going to be as fast as this, and it's not going to be as quick as this, and probably not even have as much horsepower. But it'll be nice, it'll be comfortable, it'll be fun. I'll be able to take it to car shows still. And this thing, if you're watching this video and you're in our area, I'm going to have this thing to so many car shows near us. I'm going to have a big white poster board sign saying, for sale, make offer. I'll have my phone number under it. And
I told him,
I just can't wait to see what's next.
I told him we need another convertible like the LeBaron.
I would love another convertible like my old car.
It was the first convertible that I've ever known of our family owning, and
yeah,
they're completely different to drive. It's awesome.
It's like no other car ever, especially the LeBarons.
It's the only reason I wish this car had T-tops.
Yeah.
But I'm glad my car doesn't, because if it had T-tops, the rust in the floor pans, you wouldn't have floor pans.
Yeah. Which, oh, well, that's another thing that was done to this car before us, is the floor pans were replaced. It's kind of just pieces of sheet metal that are down there, but they're on there properly.
So it's an insert.
Yeah.
They're completely welded in properly. We've gone over this car thoroughly.
Very much.
They're in there proper.
They are. Well, the seats are bolted in, literally bolted.
The seats are out of a 70s model.
68.
68. Yeah, 68.
But they're bolted into the floor pan, so they're not coming off.
It'll be. We're gonna have
whoever buys this car is gonna be insanely happy.
We're gonna have some fun with it. Do you want?
And yeah, we're gonna have our fun with it while I still have it.
Before we end the video, we'll give you a little startup on it.
We'll give you a startup. We might video a little bit, cruising around and stuff. But, you know, I figure this might be, for however long I have this car for, who knows, this might be one of the last videos with this car. That's kind of why this video is a little bit longer. We're going over that one you've never seen on the channel before. We're going over this thing and just, I wouldn't say trying to get rid of it, but I want someone else to have their fun with it, and I want to have something else to have fun with.
The timing though of everything going wrong couldn't have been better, because it was right at the end of car show season, so it wasn't going anywhere anyways.
Yeah.
So we had plenty of time to fix it.
Months and months of extended testing and fixing have gone into this car.
I bought this car at the same time, and I was going to go to the last car show of the year, but messed up my ankle and couldn't drive for 2 months.
Yeah.
So only thing I could do was go start it and look at it.
Which, if you own a classic car and you've ever had something like that happen to you, you know it sucks. It genuinely sucks.
Also,
like owning this thing and not being able to drive it for months and months and months. It sucks.
If you own a classic car, you do just tend to sit there and look at it.
I can admit that I've just sat in this car for minutes and probably closer to hours, just sitting in it, enjoying myself, because it's just happy. There's no other way to say it. Just sitting in it just makes you feel happy.
After you've done all the work to a car like this, you just want to sit and look at it and hear it,
and just enjoy it.
It's
my girlfriend behind the camera will vouch. The second my car started, I just sat behind it, inhaling the fumes of just it's running. I didn't scream like a little girl. I did not scream like a little girl. I screamed at the top of my lungs after it got running, and my voice is still a little affected by that and from graduation, but that's, you know, I screamed because it ran. It ran. I screamed at the guy on the phone with me from Phytech. I'm like, thank you! I just screamed into the phone. And then I just yelled at the top of my lungs and almost passed out, actually.
And I'm just saying, going to a graduation in a 1974, what is it, Malibu? Or
Chevy Chevelle Malibu.
With a 383 stroker with 3-inch downpipes to an axle dump.
It got a lot of attention.
That's pretty cool.
It got a lot of attention. It got a lot of looks. Everybody wanted to hear it. And I actually had a lot of my friends texting me, telling me, they were like, dude, I heard you.
Well, it was the first time a lot of them got to see it, too, because it was down for months.
It was, yeah, she just said every man looked. Literally, she's not joking. Anybody that just walked past, they were like,
sorry, any real man.
Yeah. Well, and it was funny because it was like, you could just tell that everyone was looking at it and like, there's no way that 18-year-old kid owns this car. And I'm like, but I do. I paid cash for this car, so you can go screw yourself. I paid for this thing, and I freaking paid for all the work that went into it.
There's no daddy's money in either of these cars.
No. Yeah, no. It's not like that rich kid in freaking high school that's got their daddy's money lifted truck. No,
he's graduating age. He's doing it right.
I worked a lot. I used to have a lot of money, and then I bought this thing.
And then race car things.
Then race car things happen. And yes, the memes, if you have seen them, are correct. Once you get a
race car things are expensive.
Yeah. But not for the next freaking owner after I just dropped several grand into this. Yeah,
they're going to be set to go. They're going to be set to go.
That's what I'm saying. I have dropped several grand into this car over the past few months. You're set for years, unless you let this car sit for years.
And that was one of the problems. The previous owner let it sit since 2020.
In a barn for a year or more. Yeah, and that itself is an issue. But I think we're going to get some videos of the exhaust of both of these cars. Don't mind the moving tailpipe on this one. We got to weld it.
Somebody welded it before the rear exhaust hanger. The weld broke off.
Here, I guess we can show them.
It's just old car things.
Someone did kind of a crappy tack welding job on this exhaust pipe in particular.
The exhaust is factory. It has factory mufflers and everything.
Yeah, it's factory mufflers, factory exhaust, but someone
I hate how you're pointing out that on my car.
Well, we've been pointing out crap on my car, so it is what it is. It's literally such a simple fix that it's not.
I know a guy with a welder who can fix it.
Yeah, and our brother is a professional welder who can literally get under there, and that weld will outlast this car.
And I'm just saying, my car has heat.
I don't think you need heat whenever it's currently about 65 degrees and the breeze is perfect.
The one thing that I did not think about when I bought this car, if you take a look at the gauge cluster.
Yeah.
The silver. So when you drive this car at night and you're going under street lights or like red lights or the green lights and stuff, it reflects off of the dash. And you're like, why is my dash green?
Okay, I'm sorry. This is a total and complete ADHD moment. There are so many tiny little red bugs on the ground right here.
They're all over my wheel.
Dude, there are so many of these tiny little red bugs.
All over my wheel. Look at that.
Are they?
Yeah, look.
Yeah, there's one down there. There's one right there. Dude, there's so many of these tiny little red bugs. Holy crap. That's probably not going to pull up on camera. It's like the ground is red and moving all around us. Anyway, let's get back to the exhaust. Austin, if you would, start your car up first.
Yeah, right to the red bugs, I guess.
It's an ADHD moment. Where's my microphone? I'm going to take my microphone. Sorry if this is loud, ladies and gentlemen. Take my microphone, hold it down here. Just so you can hear better. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I think that is an absolutely amazing noise right there.
For factory, it sounds pretty darn good.
Yeah, for factory, that sounds great. Again, sorry if this is making a lot of noise. I'm clipping my microphone back on.
Yeah, I don't think you can do that to your first.
No,
I'll just shove the microphone up the exhaust.
You might kill my microphone.
I'm just gonna stand right here.
Yeah. And well, I guess you guys will get to hear it from both angles. I guess it'll pick up on both angles, I guess, from inside and from the back. That is another thing. You got like that front fuel pump prime before you actually start it up. Which it only takes like 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. That's a heck of a noise, if I could say so.
I don't know if you can hear me, but man, it's
Hey, stay back there real quick. Watch this. Watch this. Woo, buddy. Daggone.
It is so insanely bassy. There's so much bass from the exhaust of this car.
What? It's not actually very... Okay, it is loud in the interior.
So what's
like
crazy,
standing behind this thing, it is...
What's crazy is
so loud.
It used to be louder before we fixed everything.
Okay, no, we're fixing that. That's something super simple. Well, actually, I didn't shut the door all the way, so we don't mind that. There's like a tiny little paint chip right there.
The striker's loose, and we got to tighten it.
Yeah, look, literally, this is all that is. That little guy.
We just got to readjust it. The striker came loose, so
it's just wiggly. I don't even know if you can see that on video. It's wiggly. It just needs to tighten back up. Yeah, bam. Literally.
Yeah, you just need to do. Yeah.
Bam.
I'm not kidding you. The door on this car is like 3 feet long. And weighs like 200
let's see.
pounds.
I'm 5'8". Yeah, no, it's over 5 feet long.
For a coupe.
That's massive.
For a coupe, he can sit in the front seat comfortably, and I can sit behind him as a 6'4" man fairly comfortably.
Oh yeah, and the seat moves. I don't know if I've ever done that in a video. The seats move forward. They actually work.
Yeah, they're all the way back right now.
They're all the way back. And don't mind this. This is not needed, as you just saw.
That was from my car because it sits in a
Sits in a storage unit.
It sits in a storage unit with the battery disconnected.
His car occasionally needs
And I bring it just in case.
I just have it in the back of my car,
And
just because I can.
as you can see, there's ashtrays for the children.
Yes. Whenever your 7-year-old child wants to smoke a cig in the back of the car,
even my '80s car has the same thing.
And hey, look, I'll make you guys a deal. If you buy this car and you're from YouTube, I will include my own personal, unopened, that I still have in my room, hula dancer. I have a hula dancer that I have not yet put in this car. I will include that if you're from this video and you buy this car. That's a heck of a deal right there for a $5 hula dancer.
All new spark plugs and all that stuff.
Oh, well, yeah, that's just... I think I made a video or something saying that I did only spark plugs.
This video is a mixture of both of what our cars are and kind of a recap on his, because it's kind of been a while.
It has been a while since this car has been on my channel. We should have recorded all of it while we were doing it, but it was so many mixed hours. Yeah.
Because he's day shift, I work night shift. So while I was awake, he was asleep, so we didn't have people to record.
While he was awake working on it, I would be asleep, and then whenever I was awake, if I was doing something on the car, he'd be asleep. And yeah, I can video by myself, but it's just it's frustrating.
It's hard to video and work on a car
properly, at least.
Because I'm not kidding you, you have to lay over this engine bay.
Unless you're me and you literally can fit in between the engine and the radiator, which I do. I have had to do that before. Literally sit in between the engine and the radiator. I've had to do that before, and I could barely walk the next day because it hurt so bad.
The hardest part of all of this was getting the motor back into its home.
Yes. Because
there's like 1.5 feet to the front of the motor.
Oh,
to the
shoot,
first
there's more
pulley.
than that.
It took a lot of manpower and patience.
We literally had
in there
4 or 5 guys to get the motor back.
Yeah, it was
a heck of a thing.
We had to take our time because we didn't want to damage anything.
Yeah. But I think that's a pretty good recap of that and an introduction to my brother's car over here. Later on in other videos, like we said, you'll see our grandpa's Jeep, and you'll see our...
We've also got a pretty sweet 2001.
Yeah, I was just about to say it. Our oldest brother has a 2001 GMC Sonoma.
Step side bed, the upgraded wheels. It's got and
the factory lowering kit that they put on it.
It's got, and he repainted it at the ending of last year.
Mm-hmm.
And we just did a whole sound system in that thing.
Yeah. So you guys will see that eventually in a video too, probably. That'll be going to car shows and stuff with us all.
We've got some pretty cool cars. Like we should have done YouTube a long time ago.
Yeah.
My personal truck has 215s pushing 144 decibels. That's my daily driver.
Yeah.
We'll show you that another day too, but like we got some pretty cool cars and stuff that we'll make content with.
Yeah. But I think that's a good place to end today's quite long video. If you guys enjoyed, please like, subscribe, share it with friends, family, whoever.
And he should put my channel name in the description.
Link his channel in the description. He needs to start releasing more videos with his car. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all have a fantastic day. Like I said, leave a comment, anything. If you want this car, tell anybody, whatever. But thank you all very much for watching. Peace out.
Bye. Have a great time.